now, which I thought was interesting. If you guys see the previews of Fallout, there are one of the most famous robots in the series. They're called Mr. Handies, and there's also Mr. Gutsies, which are military versions of them. But they're these like British butler robots that have like saw blades and flamethrowers, because you totally need that as a butler. Let's be honest. But I was going through, and I know they have different personalities. Like some of the ones you meet, like one of them who sells you stuff has a game show host personality, and you go to buy stuff from him, and he's like, "Let's make a deal." But it never occurred to me that, like, even though I've heard them with female voices, I've never thought of them as being like feminine. But lo and behold, I'm running through Fallout, and one of the companions you can get is a female Mr. Handy called a Miss Nanny. And I really, really want to, because you can romance people in the game. I really, really want to get her. I've done forgot her name because I've met her once. But I want to put her and Codsworth, who's the Mr. Handy robot I've got, together and see if they can romance each other, because I can't romance Codsworth, and that's a damn shame. Can't romance my butler bot. But it's interesting having female designated robots, because that's the big deal with BB-8 right now, isn't it? It's is it a girl or is it a boy? Who knows? But there's been I guess people got tired of debating if Jar Jar Binks was a Sith Lord. Now they're debating the sex of BB-8.
Aww.
Of all the things. It's a slow week for Star Wars news if you're trailer agnostic, like I've been doing for the past week and a half.
Oh
Or,
yeah, I'm watching those trailers too like crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, Disney being Disney, they're getting almost as bad as Age of Ultron, where like
yes.
every single day, every single hour, it's like, we've got a new clip, we've got some new footage. Watch this, you want to, and of course everyone does.
And then they kick themselves because they're like, oh gosh, I'm going to get spoiled.
Yeah, I love the people that do that in the comments. They're like, "Oh my God, please, no more, no more." And they're like, "You just watched it, didn't you?" He's like, "Yes, but no more." And they're like, "Don't complain if they're like, no one's Disney's not holding a gun to your head and telling you to watch this." But it's a really really hard thing to resist, because like, I don't want to ruin the movie for myself, but at the same time, I really 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 want to know. But
You've only
none of
got,
it's answering the question I want to know,
yes.
which is, where the hell is Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, yeah, I do the same thing. I'll sit there and I'll be like, I don't want to ruin it, but oh screw it, let me watch anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I know, I'm watching it. And
It's like I've got a month to forget.
yeah, really. I mean, it's just a little portion or a little article. I mean, it's not gonna tell you everything in full.
No. What's interesting is even when, and of course, obviously the ones that have been coming out have been very Finn heavy. That's not. That's nothing new. Everyone knew it was going to be centered around Finn. What's interesting is, and a few of them are starting to center on Rey. There was one on I think Disney XD that was focusing on Rey. Obviously that shouldn't be surprising, because those are going to be, of course, the two main characters. The only other main new character you could do is if you want to do one on Poe, or do one on, which his parents were featured in the Shattered Empire comic. He was actually conceived in the first issue. Spoiler alert. First, yeah, but there's very few new characters, and they're trying to flesh out what happened to the original core characters, mainly in this the Journey to Force Awakens stuff that's been coming out. So it makes sense that they're gonna focus on the people we literally know nothing about, as they should. But yeah, the theory, it started with Kylo Ren being everybody. I mean, at this point, we're all three Kylo Ren at once. We just amalgamate into Kylo Ren, like Voltron or Power Rangers or something.
We have an actor for him. I don't understand how.
But then people are like, it could be Vader or like Jeremy Bulloch. Like, the guy in a suit doesn't equal, the same actor being him, and just all kinds of silly things.
Where Voldemort was on the back of Professor Quirrell's head when it was.
Just like that. And now people are saying, because I guess they got tired. I guess because they definitively proved Finn and Rey are not Kylo Ren, since they're all three in the same scene together. Now people are saying, well, maybe it's Leia. If it ain't Luke, maybe it's Leia. And it's like, come on, guys, just get off. Maybe it's Kathleen Kennedy herself, and the whole thing is just a parody of Disney. But no, like the funnier ones are C-3PO, because it's apparently stated in some kind of it's apparently stated in the bylaws of droid making. Literally, according to J.J. Abrams, it's apparently stated that C-3PO has to have at least one spare part. And apparently this time around it's he's got a red arm instead of the missing aluminum leg like he had in the original trilogy. I mean, dude's like a 65-year-old robot. Of course, I mean, you think stuff's gonna break down eventually, but
Yeah.
but
He's supposed to have that red arm.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently some people are saying that the reason C-3PO, speaking of crazy rumors this week, apparently the reason C-3PO has a red left arm is because he donated his left arm to replace Luke's right hand. You see where this is going? It's like it makes no logical sense, but people are like, let's talk about this.
Yeah. Sure.
I think that would be an interesting spin, though, because I mean, Luke's got to get the parts somewhere. Stuff requires maintenance.
Yeah, all you got to do is just flip the hand around, and it'll fit perfect.
Just reverse the joints.
Yeah.
It's really the thumb you got to worry about. You just gotta weld it on to the other side.
Yeah.
He has a missing arm. I always just assumed the skin fell away.
Mm-hmm.
Because they show that it's in Empire Strikes Back. They show that they're robotic innards in that hand.
Yeah, and it shows that he can feel pain, like it's a synthetic skin, like the little robot sitting there, like sticking pins into his finger to see if he feels it or whatever. It's obviously it's obviously a little more advanced than Anakin, but at the same time, the guy that we think is Luke in the trailer has a very Anakin-y hand. I'm surprised no one has caught on to that either. People are latching on to the melted Darth Vader helmet. It's interesting. No one has been like, well, maybe that's Anakin's hand from the prequels, and he found it.
Yeah.
He went to Mustafar and repaired it, and now he's got his father's hand. I really just want to start a cast that's just parroting fan theories. It's so weird. Speaking of fans, oh my God, have you heard about the Fox News anchor? Fox News, I don't know what she is. I don't know if she's a comedian or what. Apparently there's a late night parody show. Have you guys heard about that recently?
The reaction to her, you mean?
Their reaction to her talking about space nerds and their space nerd sticks, and she's too busy being attractive and liking cool things, and just like it's obvious bullshit, and it's off center and stuff, and like I don't think it's funny, but then again I'm not Fox News's target demographic. But at the same time, like the reaction that people are having to her, they've sent her like death threats and rape threats and death and rape threats, and just, oh my God.
I'm not, you know what, I'm honestly not surprised anymore.
Yeah.
It's a critique in our society. It's almost like we're getting, and I was talking to my husband about this the other day, it's almost, we're going to have a what do you call it, The Boy Who Called Wolf, that old parody. We've gotten so hypersensitive to offending people and then our horrible reactions that when something bad is going to happen, no one's going to be paying attention to it. Something's going to happen that, any logical person stepping back going, yes, this was a case of offensive, horrible behavior, and nobody can say anything because everybody's just been getting angry about Christmas cups from Starbucks or those Reese trees. Wait,
I missed that one.
Oh yeah, no people.
It probably happened when I was making fun of Joshua Fehrenstein, whatever his name is.
Apparently, you know how Reese's come out with those Christmas trees every Christmas?
As they always do, yeah.
Apparently, it's not Christmas tree enough looking.
It's a chocolate mold.
It's a chocolate. I know, but still, that's what people are upset about. Is the Christmas trees don't look like Christmas trees.
That's not my goal when I pull out a Reese's Christmas tree, though.
I know.
I don't oogle it before I eat it. I rarely ever take into consideration. I mean, it could be molded into dog poop for all I care. If it's a Reese's product, it's going in my mouth without any thought. I'm not thinking about how realistic it looks.
Those are usually the best though, because the peanut butter to chocolate ratio is just amazing.
The peanut butter to chocolate viscosity is very balanced. Oh my God! I was watching Futurama today. Speaking of viscosity, there's that space janitor, and I forget the situation, but Fry's like, "Do you have? I think it's bear grease or something." And the janitor goes, "What viscosity do you need?" Oh, I missed that show. I mean, it's only been off the air like a year, but I missed that show already. Speaking of shows that got canceled, Mystery Science Theater 3000 is coming back from the dead. Have you guys heard about that? It apparently has. They've apparently put it up on Kickstarter, and to bring it back, I think it's like a limited series. I don't know if they're doing more than one series, because if you pay $8,000, aka if you have too much money, they will mail you Tom Servo and Crow when they're done with the show. I don't know if they just rebuild them every season, but Felicia Day is coming back as Felicia Day is playing the new mad scientist in the new season, and I'm quite okay with that. And then there are two. Who else? Tom Servo and Crow are played by two stand-up comedians that were not the ones from the Hampton Yount and Baron Vaughn. I'm so sorry, Hampton, if I butchered your last name. It looks like Young with a T instead of a G. Are voicing Crow and Tom Servo, who are two fantastically funny dudes, and then you have Felicia Day coming back. So I'm okay with that. The only thing that can make it better is if Kristen. I'm terrible with names, y'all. I don't know if you realize this or not. Kristen Shaw from Fly the Conchords and Last Man on Earth and Bob's Burgers. It would make my world if she came on as like Gypsy or one of the other robots, because then my comedian evil axis would be complete in one show. I'm quite alright with that.
I love that show.
I do love that show.
I saw many of those movies because of Brian, though. It was it was funny watching. It wasn't my first time seeing a lot of those movies, so that was hysterical. Yeah,
it's funny. It's the same thing with Riff Tracks, who have kind of filled the Mystery Science void after the original show went off. You know, it's hilarious because a lot of movies like The Room is infamous for being bad, and then you have a bunch of guys who come on and make fun of it for the length of the movie, and it's just great because it's all the things that you've kind of thought out loud watching these shitty movies, but now you have robots saying them out loud, and it's great. I could do with more, because God knows there are plenty of cheesy movies out there. I would love, and I know they probably would never do it because of licensing / copyright restrictions. I would love to see Mystery Science Theater make fun of modern awful movies.
Yeah.
Basically an entire. I mean, you could do an entire season on M. Night movies right there.
Yeah, that would be good.
Of M. Night and
very interesting to see and hear what they have to say and make fun of those movies.
Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun.
It would be, or like a show that's making fun of other shows. kind of like how people live tweet when they watch shows. Like, what if there's like a really shitty show, kind of like the last 2 seasons of Heroes, and they're just making fun of it? Oh, so many ideas. Or Mystery Science Theater, or Riff Tracks riffing on Mystery Science Theater. There are so many possibilities. Because they haven't announced their movie list yet. Of course, it's probably going to be B-grade movies. I would love to see them make fun of. I know they've done some knockoffs before. I know Film Sack and Riff Tracks have made fun of Bollywood and like the Mockmuster, like Transmorphers and those kind of movies. Sharknado. I know they've made fun of those. I would love to see Mystery Science Theater's take on those, especially with that crew. Oh, anyway. I'm done fanboying.
Well, yeah, it would be great to see them and hear them make fun of those low budget films. I mean,
Oh
even
yes.
the low budget catastrophe movies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That would be a lot of fun to hear them
Mm-hmm.
make their funny comments and remarks and stuff. Um, yeah, my uncle got me hooked on that show a long time ago when it first started, and I enjoyed it.
I think
It was
everybody's uncle did, because mine certainly did.
yeah, it was sad to see them go, but I'm glad they're bringing them back, and hopefully it'll have a nice little run.
Yeah, I blame Veronica Mars for filmmakers using Kickstarter. Because ever since then, film as a medium never really caught on to Kickstarter until Rob Thomas threw Veronica Mars through the Veronica Mars movie onto Kickstarter, and it just blew it out of the water. And then Zach Braff put oh God, what is that movie called? Zach Braff put one of his Zach Braff movies on there. It's basically always the same movie. Put that on there, and so many more. So this is a part of a continuously growing line. It's fantastic. I would love to see shows up there. I mean, think about what and they've already blown past. They've got 12 days left, and their original goal was $2 million, and they're currently at $3.25 million, 27,639 backers. You can get everything from ringtones to coffee cups to you get to take home Crow and Tom Servo if you've got a lot of money and you don't know what to do with it. Just give them $8,000 and there you go. As well as getting VIP tickets, just fantastic stuff. But Kickstarter is really cool because it originally started right as a product-backed crowdsourcing thing. You'd go in there, you get things like the Pebble smartwatch, and I've got a leather satchel through a group called Satchel and Page that I got through there, and then Star Citizen, but that's neither here nor there, literally. But it's really neat. I mean, think about what Joss Whedon could do with like Firefly if he put it on Kickstarter. Like there, it's like Fox, you're not doing anything with it. Just let me put it up here. Let me get a third season going on. We're seeing a third season. Let me continue the saga that everyone wants.
Well, I think it's a really nice outlet for people who are feeling really disoriented with the current movie TV show offering. We talked about how everything's a sequel and everything is, a prequel.
Or the Aliens now, you have a prequel trilogy that's a sequel to the prequel that they just announced yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see. Like, I remember they did a Kickstarter for Reading Rainbow that was incredibly successful.
Yes.
They're going to be able to bring that back too. So, I just think for the most part, it's a really nice, how you want to say, outlet for people who are feeling really frustrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it shows that the stuff that blows past its goals, like Pebble, Oya. Never mind that the actual product was shit. But the concept of it was basically, let's stick it to the man. Here's an independent product that bypasses all the bullshit you usually have to do with developers to get your game out there. And it was a great concept, and people responded to that. Star Citizen, blew it out of the water because it was, it was like the space game. If you ever wanted to live Star Wars, there's an opportunity for you. Pebble had their work cut out for them because I think they were like the second smartwatch ever. But it all has this idea of independence and not like you said, not going with the status quo of things, and just the number of games and graphic novels in there is fantastic too, and it's great. You always look in the news. Every time you see Kickstarter in the news, it's always the hot shit that is kind of falling apart, like the coolest cooler they haven't sent to their backers. It's a $500 cooler. Have you guys seen this? It's a $500 cooler, but they haven't sent it to their backers, but they're already fulfilling orders on Amazon. So that's been a massive storm lately. But for the most part, a lot of them have been successful, which is why you don't hear about them.
Except for Exploding Kittens.
Except for Exploding Kittens, which exploded everywhere. because College Humor rules the internet. I swear. What was it? College Humor? Who
Oatmeal.
made this?
Oatmeal.
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 Oatmeal. It's all the same thing.
No,
Let's make fun of the internet summer. No, Oatmeal. Between Oatmeal and College Humor, my God, there's just there was no way you could not know about projects like that. That just blew absolutely up. What was it, like 1,000% funded or something by the time it got done, at least? Yeah, just oh my God. Yeah, you hear about that. How much money did that make? I got to look at it now. Someone made a knockoff sequel called Exploding Puppies, and no one gave them money. That's amazing. Exploding Kittens pledged $8,718,571. That's a lot of money. But what was the campaign? Because I remember it was like a modest goal.
yeah, it was like a couple of thousand.
It was like 2,000 or 3,000, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was that little, but
Yeah.
it was pretty small.
Yeah.
It might have been in the double thousands.
Yeah. $10,000 goal. So
Yeah.
yeah, well past its actual goal. Oh my God. Yeah, fantastic stuff. And you can still buy it. It's coming to retail stores eventually, as far as I'm aware. Give you something to play when you're not playing Cards Against Humanity or Duel at Mount Skullfire, which is a fantastic game. Great stuff. Oh man. We had a tabletop game night last Friday, and I've still got those. I've still got those in my head. Forbidden Desert, all those games. I absolutely love those.
I think the one thing about Exploding Kittens that I love the most is that it's 2 to 5 players, which means I don't need to be at a party to play it. I can play it with my husband.
Yeah, it seems like all the games I had in college. It seems like the games I play now are the games I should have played in college, because the games I play now, like you said, are 2 to 5 players, and the games I played in college were like Cranium, which requires like 48 people to play. So, when a game requires a minimum of 8 people to play, that kind of puts a damper on the situations that you can break that thing out.
Right. Exactly.
If it fits the Mario Party demographic, it's okay by me. So, speaking of movies, I got a chance finally to go and see The Martian weekend before last, and it was fantastic. And I think you saw it too, didn't you, Marcus?
Yes, I did. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Now, you never read the book, did you?
No.
Oh, what's wrong with you? No, it's a fantastic book. It's interesting because it basically, the movie and the book follow each other along very well, which I thought was surprising, because Andy Weir, he mentioned in the Talking Room with Adam Savage, which is a fantastic coverage about the process of writing the book. He wrote it on a blog, and then he decided to expand on it and publish it as a actual novel. But he signed the movie rights and the book publishing rights the same day, which is absolutely crazy. But I think he was only invited to write like the initial screen treatment for it, and then they're like, okay, let's hand this to the professionals, and we'll handle it. But I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But I was under the impression he wasn't very involved with the actual production of the movie, which is something that's usually kind of like a death sentence for books. You see a lot of things that get filmed. Aragon is a prime example of that. You see a lot of things that get filmed that have absolutely nothing to do with the source material. Dreamcatcher, Stephen King, another example. It hits some notes, but it ultimately was written by somebody who was drunk, I think, because they're just awful. The Martian didn't do that. It actually hews very closely to the book. The only thing it didn't really do that the book did a lot of was, there's a lot of exposition from Watney when he's on Mars. It's very kind of like I Am Legend, where Will Smith spends most of the movie kind of wandering around New York, and there's not really many people. The book does that a lot, and And what the movie chose to do was go the opposite way. You see, they could have done it like the book and had him just be lonely out there, but I think they figured out that would bore audiences. So they show NASA figuring out that he's on Mars a lot earlier than is the book. I think it's like halfway through the book when they notice he's there, and they're like, oh shit, we need to do something about this. So they expand on the NASA political drama of it, which I thought was a good move. It definitely made it feel a little more, a little more worldwidely impactful. There's not much, Anywhere does a good job in the book about saying, when the NASA PR woman is coming up, thinking about like what she's going to wear and what she's going to say, because 5 million people are going to see this right now, and then schools for like the next 80 years are going to see this over and over and over again. So she has to make sure everything's on point. And the movie just kind of shows that. It doesn't really explain it because you don't really, you kind of understand what it does.
Oh yeah, it shows it right away.
Yeah. Hang on, just
and you're right what you said about I Am Legend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hang on just a second. Something. Oh. Well, that's awkward. First, I had my Spotify paused, and it inexplicably decided to start playing again. So, all of a sudden, I start hearing Pearl Jam all over the place. Anyway, I am so sorry, Marcus.
Oh no, that's okay. That's all right. I like Pearl Jam, so it's cool.
Yeah, too bad. That's right. Yeah, if it does make it in the air, at least we turned it off before the you can sue us 30-second mark. Anyway.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the differences between I Am Legend and Martian. I Am Legend. Yeah, you did feel that loneliness.
Yeah.
That Will Smith felt, and in The Martian, I mean, there was just constantly something happening, and you didn't feel that,
Yeah, it was very quickly paced for what it was. It was a very fast 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was. It did have a good pace to it, and maybe they learned from I Am. Who knows?
Yeah, because I can
really
see. Yeah, and I Am Legend was very deeply divided. Like I liked it. I liked the fact that Will Smith kind of played off of that. Later on in the movie, he's kind of doing you kind of get the feeling that he might be a little crazy from being alone for so long. But The Martian, I don't know. It's weird because in the book you feel like anytime you turn the page, like Watney's gonna die. Like you don't have this certainty. Like even in the last parts of the book, which just end on him still in space, is when the book ends. You don't have the epilogue of him. Spoiler alert, being back on Earth. You don't get to see an aftermath of that. I mean, he could have died from exhaustion for all we know on the way back home because it takes 6 months. But you never really get that in the movie. The movie you always have, or at least I got a feeling that he was going to make it. It's not exactly a feel-good movie, but you kind of got you never got the feeling that Watney wasn't going to die.
Yeah, you can say that. The only time I really felt like he was really gonna come close to dying was spoilers. Anybody listening is when his helmet started cracking. He had to take it.
Then that was a real tense moment in the book too, because he's explaining while he's doing that. He's like, I've got 30 seconds before I basically spontaneously die.
Yeah.
Really, I mean that's an absolutely horrendous situation for anybody. Yeah, absolutely. If it wasn't for his trusty duct tape, it would. And I think they even call it like space tape in the book. I think it's like some all repairing, like basically duct tape for space.
Duct tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like Kleenex. It's the brand name, so they can't actually say duct tape without paying rights for it.
Yeah, I don't think they even name it because you know what it is. But I think it's like specifically made for NASA or something. I could be extrapolating this too deeply, but I think it was like specifically made for like the repairs while they're on the Hab. Anyway, it's super duper, and I really wish MythBusters was still here to MythBust. If you could seal basically he cracks his helmet because an airlock on the Martian Hab explodes and he gets blown out of it, and he's got this giant crack in this dome on his helmet. And basically what he does is he's got duct tape carabinered on his suit, and he basically duct tapes his helmet back together and goes into the Hab. And I really wish somebody could mythbust if you could seal a space helmet basically with nothing but duct tape.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
With that short amount of time that he had. Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm led to believe it's like some military grade duct tape, like super duper 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 dense durable stuff. But even then, it seems pretty haphazard for the pressurization that he was in. And then you have the PR woman who's like, well, why is he wearing a helmet? I don't want him to wear the helmet next photo he gets. And they're like, well, he would die if he takes it off. That's one of my favorite lines that made it in there. And they had a lot of in jokes in the movie that, like, if you read the book you would know what was going on. Like there's it would have got an R rating just from the language that Watney uses in the book. Andy Weir's words, not mine. There's a lot of language in the book, and it's funny because they still have dialogue from the book. And I think it's funny that when Watney is like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like they censor it, but they still show you on the screen. Or like things like when he initially starts talking to NASA and he's like chatting away on the keyboard. He says something and he smarts off, and they're like, "Watney, you got to watch what you're saying. The whole world can see this." And his response in the book is to be like, "Oh, look, boobs," and he like types the emoticon boobs out, and like you don't see that in the movie, but they have all of the dialogue into that, and when he types a response, it just has like the NASA guys looking shocked on the screen. So if you read the book, you know exactly what Watney said, and it's hilarious. But like no one else gets the joke if they haven't read the book. And I thought it was great. They had several of those moments in the movie. It's kind of it's one of the few movies that actually feels like it's honoring their readers by being like, oh yeah, you know what's going on in the scene. No one else does, but you do. I thought that was great. But The Martian, it's out in theaters. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long. I'm pretty sure it might get flushed out when Star Wars drops, as with most of everything else in the known universe. Go see it. Go see it in the dollar theater. Go rent it. Go rent it in high definition. It's a fantastic movie. Ridley Scott. If anyone had any doubts about his ability to direct sci-fi after Prometheus, I think this definitely will change your mind about that. Hopefully, if it doesn't, there's something just wrong with you. But it's
yeah,
it's fantastically produced.
yeah, yeah. It's very well.
Practical effects, minimal CGI, just really gorgeous work.
Yeah, yeah. That is true. I highly recommend it. Also, very enjoyable. Matt Damon does a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Everybody was well cast. They were not the people I was picturing in my head. When I was reading the book, I actually pictured Chris Pratt, as I often do, and as Watney. But seeing their performances in the movie, I absolutely feel no doubt that they cast the perfect people for it. Sean Bean, oh man, Sean Bean actually does not die in this movie.
Yay!
He is one of the only times I've seen him on screen where he doesn't die.
Aw.
So there's that, guys. And it's also Sean Bean being very British. I for some reason I always forget he's British because I think he's always talking in that American accent,
Yeah.
and he just lets the British hang out in this, and it's great. He is I think he's the launch manager for NASA in the movie. I forget his name, but just fantastic, all around fantastic. Um, so yeah,
Jesse.
there's your non-Star Wars endorsement for the week, kids.
Jesse, you didn't get a chance to see it yet.
No, it's one of those things where I really am. I'm strapped for time. Like I'm here working on my thesis, the only fun thing I did this week was I got my Smuggler's Bounty subscription box.
Speaking of, how did you How did you? It's like the speaking of college, it's like the especially in grad school, it's like the zombie rules from Zombieland. Cherish the little things.
Exactly.
Sparing 2 hours to see The Martian is probably the only thing I did this week that did not involve work or schoolwork. Yeah, and that's what happens when you're a boring
Grad student.
grad student who is gainfully employed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Actually, it doesn't end for us because we both work at colleges too. It's like college nonstop. It's like when my grandmother asks. It's like when my grandmother asks if I'm still in school. It's like, well, it depends on the situation. Depends on what time of day we're talking about. Working at schools is fun. No, it really is. Really, really is. As long as you have good people, that's true for anything.
Yeah.
Speaking of Smuggler's Bounty, I've heard some mixed reviews about it through the week. I unfortunately did not get a chance to get it because Marvel Collector Corps is coming out with Guardians of the Galaxy in December, and I've got to represent that, so I'm getting that. It says Smuggler's Bounty. But what did you think about it? So it's for those who don't know, what is it?
Okay, it's a Funko endorsed subscription box,
Mm-hmm.
which means it's Funko products, so pop figures, things of that nature, and it's very similar to the core for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
They decide to do a theme, I guess you could say. The theme of this box was the First Order, and so you're guaranteed a pop figure, of course. I don't know why I was thinking that I was only going to get one.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up with two, so I was kind of excited about that. But that actually,
Which ones did you get?
I got the Captain Phasma Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is she actual chrome or is she just like shiny?
she is,
Because if she's solid metal, that would be just too cool.
here,
Yeah.
yeah, there she is.
Yeah, because I know they had the solid metal Black Series Phasma when Force Friday happened. So I saw the word chrome and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, it is really nice. I like it quite a bit. And then I got the normal TIE Fighter. So I got the 89, which leads me to probably my biggest complaint with this series, is the first of all, they had a chaser figure, which I wasn't happy about. It's bad enough that not bad enough, but it's already selective enough that this is exclusive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get the box to get these figures. But then they decided, and I didn't know this when I ordered it, that they were going to create a chaser figure. So you had one of 3 figures,
Okay.
and you only got 2 of the 3. And one of them was rarer than the others.
And I'm guessing it wasn't Captain Phasma because she was guaranteed, yeah.
She was guaranteed. So you got one
Okay.
of the 2 TIE fighters. The only difference between the 2 is the other one has red bands.
Now, yeah, because that's the what is it? The Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot. Which one is the rare one? Is that the Special Forces one or the okay?
One with the band.
Yeah. The interesting thing is on YouTube that's the one I saw most often was the Special Forces one. Maybe it's all a conspiracy.
I have a suspicion that the people who were reviewing got one with the chaser in it. That's just kind of my feeling, because they want to say, oh, see, it's probable, you could get it, it could happen. It's
all an Illuminati conspiracy.
And that probably wouldn't have bothered me so much if it didn't come down to the T-shirts as well. And I'm going to very quickly see if you guys can see. Whoop, there we go. There he is.
Okay, so it's a pop vinyl, right?
Yeah, it's a pop vinyl T-shirt.
Yeah.
There were 4 of them that you could get.
Yeah, that's kind of their shtick with the Collector Corps too. I remember their T-shirts for like Age of Ultron. It was like insert Avengers here versus Ultron. I think it was like 5, and I got Iron Man. So that's always frustrating to me. Yeah.
So I think what frustrates me. Oh, now I did get a. They had a really good pen. Let me talk about what I liked about it first. The box was cool. The patch is just great. It looks like
Mhm.
a TIE. It's the Special Forces TIE fighter. The pin is Kylo Ren, which is great. There was a lanyard in here with stormtroopers. That was also really, really cool. I liked that. I like the T-shirt and I like the vinyls, but
Mhm.
for me, this isn't like I just I was really thrown off by the fact that it was a 2 out of 3 figures and a 1 out of 4 shirt.
Mhm.
That really frustrates me. I mean, it's a good thing I'm not really a collector because I would have been
And
pissed.
I'm guessing to get the whole collection, ostensibly, you'd have to either subscribe to, you'd either have to buy 3 boxes or whatever their ratio is. I guess if there was like 5 next month, you'd have to buy, or it's every quarter. So
Yeah,
you'd have to buy, like, if they said there was 1 out of 5, you'd have to buy ostensibly like 5 boxes to get a chance to it, or spend a lot of money on eBay. Because the TIE fighters are going for upwards of like $70 and above. The high bid on one total smuggler bounty box right now is $250.
yep.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, and I think, and again, it's not like I mean, this isn't like a Comic Con or something,
Mm-hmm.
where we're kind of repaying you for your time, money, and energy. It seems
Mm-hmm.
like they're purposely, I to me, especially for the average person, it really kicks us in the posterior, honestly, I feel. Because I mean, you don't they're already collectible. They're
Yeah.
already, something that other people aren't going to have. Why, especially since you have to dedicate, your money to the subscription,
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel this should be an issue. I
Yeah.
I
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think it depends on what mood Funko is in when they make these, because I remember I've gotten 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4 so far of the collector core boxes. I inexplicably missed out on Ant-Man. They just ran out before they charged me, even though I was on the list. So whatever. But it seems like the most recent one was Secret Wars, and it seemed like everybody got, maybe the pop vinyls were shuffled up because I got Lady Thor and Miles Morales, but there was also a Secret Wars comic book and a Secret Wars T-shirt, and I was led to believe that most of everybody got the same thing. Most of everybody, if not everybody, got the same thing in that box. But the first one, like you said, were like 1 of 4. If you wanted all the T-shirts, you had to go on eBay, do something like that. And it's interesting that they would kind of do a one size fits all feel. And again, I could be wrong. I just didn't hear anybody talk about the variances with Secret Wars. And it's interesting that they would do something like that with the Marvel one, but then they do a 180 and do it, 1 of 4 for Smuggler's Bounty, which I guess is the interesting thing with subscription boxes, because you don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
And there's been a lot of, there's been a collective kind of sigh of frustration, I think, with Smuggler's Bounty that you didn't see with things like Loot Crate or Nerd Block, or even Collector's Core. When they started, they opened to a lot of fanfare, and then Smuggler's Bounty comes out, and people were just like, what? I don't know if people were just frustrated, because I was frustrated with Secret Wars that most of everything looked like a pop vinyl. If I wear the Secret Wars T-shirt, I got pop vinyls on
Yeah.
it, which I'm okay with that. It's Funko, whatever. I mean, promote your own product, go ahead and do your thing.
Oh yeah.
But some people might be off put by that. I don't know.
No,
I
I knew
like
going
I don't know where the negative reaction is coming from as a whole.
I knew coming into the. I mean, and I do like the pop vinyls. That's one of the
Hmm.
reasons I decided to go with this. I knew it was going to be something that uh, I was going to like no matter what, because I do like the. I think the only pop vinyl I like, I don't like, which is funny, is the BB-8.
Which is ironically the one that I have right now.
Yeah, it's
The only Star Wars one I have right now, actually.
yeah, and it's really interesting because I think my issue with the BB-8 is they squared him off too much.
Hmm. Or her.
Or her, yes.
Him slash her.
Or her. But I still like it. So I knew I
Hmm.
wasn't going to get anything. I was going to be like, which is why I never did Loot Crate or any of those
Hmm.
before, because I'm very what I really like stuff I would want to own when it comes to fandoms is very limited. So I knew there was going to be a situation where I would get a box and it could be 90% of stuff I don't like, things like that.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, like, I'm always afraid when people say that there's going to be, this and this and that. I'm always afraid when I see something, and I totally blame nerd blocks for this because they're the worst at it. They'll be like, oh, well, you'll get an exclusive Ghostbusters thing, or you'll get an exclusive Star Wars thing. And then the things you get are things that don't feel very collectible. Like the exclusive Ghostbuster item I got was one time it was really cool. This is actually an either or scenario. The first time they said it, I got a door hanger that says Ghostbusted in progress, which is on my bathroom, which is fantastic. Um, but it's obviously like if someone says it's an exclusive collectible item and they send you a door hanger, it feels weird. It feels really weird. But other times they'll send things like they'll send prop replica like shield badges from Marvel. One time they got with Monster Factory and they had it looked like a what's the ghost trap in Ghostbusters called? I should know this. I just call it the ghost trap. It was like a metal Ghostbust trap and it had like a folk art fleece handmade Slimer doll in it, which was fantastic. And then other times it's like, well, yeah, I got a tiny vinyl of the Ecto One. That's cool, I guess, but I was thinking about more. It's or most recently Nerd and Arcade Block, which is a spinoff of Nerd Block that's video game related. They had a Fallout exclusive item, and what it was a mystery mini that you could buy at literally any Barnes and Noble. And unwrap. And I think I'd bought like 4 beforehand, and then I got that one.
Oh, wow.
And maybe that's the collective. Maybe it's a collective exhaustion from everybody who does blind box subscription boxes, because there's those, and they're kind of the old hat, old guard thing. You know what I mean? It's we don't know what we're gonna get. It's gonna be cool. Look at this thing, and then everybody does it, and the excitement wears off. And then you have things like bespoke post, which is men stuff. It's style stuff. It's not exactly the same target audience, but what they'll do, and Birchbox kind of does this with its choose your own sample. But what Bespoke does is it'll show you what's going to happen, and it's like, okay, you see it on the 1st, you have until midnight, or I think it's 1 a.m. on the 6th to decide if you want this or not. If you do, don't do anything, we'll charge money for it. If you don't, tell us what you do want. They give you a choice of like 4. And we'll do that. And I think it's interesting that a lot of lifestyle based subscription boxes. Quarterly does not do it. They go on the curated mystery of the of like Will Wheaton or Veronica Belmont or whoever they choose to do it. But like the geeky collectible and air quote community is like, nah, you'll get what we decide to send you.
Yeah, I was really it was just one of those things. Because I haven't done a subscription box before.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't regret getting it, but I'm still very happy with it. And I got the boss plan.
Uh-huh.
Means
Is that the one where you're like good for a whole year?
It's a little bit about, you could have the boss plan, the smuggler's plan, or the pirate. And the boss.
Because I remember one gives you a goodie if you subscribe
Yes.
for a year or something like that.
So pirate is every 2 months.
Okay.
The smuggler is once a year, and
Mhm.
on your anniversary you get a gift. And
Does
then
it
the
tell you what it
boss.
is?
No, they don't tell you what it is.
Because the Collector Corps gives you a Captain America trophy, like an Oscar. And I really hope it's something that kind of geeky and cool for Star Wars.
But if you had the boss membership, that means that you got the yearly membership when they started. So I got.
Okay.
Yeah, and that means you get an additional item.
Okay, so it's kind of like the Founders Club for the Collector Corps guys. Okay.
Yeah. So.
I'm setting myself up to talk about Guardians when I get it next month, apparently.
So I did sign up, and like I said, it's going to be one of those things where I don't regret the box. I'm happy with it, but I know that the only reason I'm happy with it is because I'm not a diehard collector at all.
Yeah. I've often described Nerd Block and Loot Crate as kind of gateway drugs for collectors. It's a box of curiosities, but if you really want to like collect everything else, you need to basically go to Barnes and Noble, eBay, conventions, basically anywhere else except that, because you can have more control over. And Marcus knows exactly how I feel. If you decide where you want to spend your money at and you can control it, you have much more control, much more freedom over what and how you collect than whatever Funko decides to send you every couple months.
Yeah, exactly. I understand that. Because that's pretty much what I do. I'll go to either GameStop or I'll go to. Earlier today, I went to Walgreens to see what little bit Star Wars stuff they had there. And I've been going to Walmart and I picked up a couple of things there. And
Black Friday.
well, I didn't get any Star Wars on Black Friday, but I'll still go into the toy aisle and look and see if anything is new.
Yeah.
I found a Rey action figure just recently, and I haven't seen one since they've been out or since even after they came out. This is the first one I've seen and the only one I've seen of Rey. So I got lucky on that one.
And I've done the same thing with. I've seen the same thing with Captain Phasma merchandise, and of course that goddamn Sphero BB-8 that I've been looking at. I have yet to see it in the wild, even though I think they're on their second run of them.
I've seen one of those at Target.
Yeah, I don't know if they just don't stock many, or if the people are, because Birmingham has a pretty hefty maker community, and Sphero is known for its hackability. It's open API, so I don't know if it's just the makers buying them up, or if we just don't have a whole lot in stock at our Barnes and Nobles and Targets around Birmingham.
It's just probably the diehard collectors hogging them
I was
up.
gonna say.
Yeah, all the scalpers.
I got mine at Barnes and Noble. I bought mine at Barnes and Noble. So.
I take that back. I have seen them in the wild when they were when they were at Dragon Con, but none on a shelf that I could pick up and purchase.
Yeah. I was gonna say recently I went to GameStop and I was looking at the Funko Pop figures.
Yeah,
there.
GameStop has had a really solid representation from the Funkos. I'm very impressed with the amount they have.
Yeah, they got a pretty wide variety, and
they get exclusives too.
Yeah, and I came across a blue Deadpool.
Oh, was it the X-Men Deadpool?
I don't know. It doesn't say X-Men on it.
Because I think Hot Topic had one where it was like Deadpool wearing an X-Men outfit, and then they had an X-Force one where he's like black and silver or something like that. There's been a whole lot of Deadpool variants.
No, he doesn't have no black and silver on him. He's blue and yellow.
Actually, that one I think was a convention exclusive because it was X-Force Deadpool with an X-Force Chimichanga truck, and it was black and silver too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that in kind of a bad way.
Yeah, and this was the first one I had seen or even heard about, so I picked it up. I went ahead and bought it, and I went onto the Funko website and checked out, all the different pop figures that they had. One thing I noticed with the blue Deadpool, you know how all the figures have a number on it?
Yeah.
Well, the blue one and the red one have the same number.
Yeah, they do that sometimes because they'll like redo series or something, and it's like that number in that series, but the other one's that number in that series too.
Is the box the same color?
Does it have a sticker on it?
I don't know. It didn't have a sticker.
Because I think sometimes if they do like variations like Gold Stan Lee for New York Comic Con or whatever, I think it'll have the same number as regular Stan Lee from like Cincy Comic Con or some crap like that. I don't know. Their numbering scheme I think is very arbitrary.
I have some Star Wars figures. My Luke figure. I missed the initial run of Luke, the one Luke figure. So when I got the new one, it's the same number, but the box is black. It's the same number. It's considered in the same series for all intents and purposes. It's the same figure, but the box is a different color.
It does say X-Men Deadpool. Hang on just a second. I got a webcam. Let me put it up.
There's a subreddit that's about nothing but Funko numbers. So I don't think anybody actually knows the answer.
Okay. So do you have the red one too?
No, I didn't get the red one. I just got this one. I thought the red one was more common, so I just went ahead and just got the blue one, thinking it's less
Well,
common.
he is blue on the box. I bet you 10 to 1 the red one he's red on the box.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah.
You got me curious now. I'm probably gonna wind up buying that one pretty soon.
Oh, Deadpool. Yeah, I'm actually looking. I'm actually looking it up online too. Yeah, yeah, it is the same number. But it might be a different series. I don't know. I'm gonna have to peruse their Reddit just to figure out. Okay, the first response said that they said it's the number of the mold used to make the pop.
Okay.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Okay.
It's
So
kind of
yeah,
it's kind of weird that they would put it on the box, but whatever.
you would have then that box is probably the well, obviously you can tell just by looking at the
Hmm.
figure, but I know like my Star Wars ones, there's almost no perceivable difference between the second run of Luke and the first run of Luke.
Hmm.
So that
Different,
was
same mold, different paints,
yeah.
probably. Yeah,
So yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I just figured there was some logical numbering scheme to it because I remember Funko Boy or whatever was, the Funko mascot was like pop number one, and I just figured they sequentially numbered it from there, but apparently not. Well, apparently they do, but it's for molds, which means Deadpool was like the 20th. He was on the short list to make a pop out of, which is kind of interesting. Um,
Uh,
yeah, Funko Pops are a terrible thing to collect.
Yeah.
You can never. It's just like the current state of Star Wars movies. You'll never have the last one.
yeah, yeah. And I was just gonna make it even more. I don't know if you can say exciting, but they have a Funko Pop figure of the dancing Groot, but with a red pot for like the Christmas holiday.
Really,
Oh.
Yeah, they have that out now. I've seen a few of those.
I
Oh.
actually kind of want that more than that's awesome. He's got a bow around his pot. Um, that's kind of cool. I really want that because I was very torn between Dancing Groot and Red Bear and Snoopy when I was in Hallmark the other day.
Oh yeah,
So I kind of want Christmas Groot just to make up for it. It's literally called Holiday Dancing Groot, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah, it's way cool.
that is really cool. Funko has done a really great job with anything Groot related. Their fabrications, which is like it's like Funkos, but they're cloth, right? The Groot one they had, instead of molding tree bark, they made a Groot doll, but they made him out of corduroy, out of brown and green corduroy. So he's tree barky, but he's corduroy, like an old pair of pants, I guess. But it's great. It's Funko. They're also known. What are some other things Funko does? They also do the reactions that are like the retro action figures of things. There are just so many things Funko makes. There are mini keychains. I've got Iron Man on a lanyard. I've got Sentinel has Matt Smith's Doctor, the 11th Doctor, on a key ring of hers. Just so many things. They do some other vinyls too that are these very stylized, very cartoony looking. They're almost like Bob's Burgers, cartoony looking, like Ghostbusters and Shaun of the Dead. And they also make what is it, Hikari? Like these really limited edition vinyl sculptures that originated in Japan. Do not, for the life of me, remember what they're called. Let's see, Funko Optimus Prime, because I remember I saw this at Barnes and Noble. Transformers Funko Hikari, yeah. They're like $50 a piece, but they're like different paint jobs of different characters. Like Optimus Prime is a big one. They have Stormtroopers. I think they had Boba Fett one time. Just great stuff. They limited to like 2,000 pieces, so I guess they're more collectible than Funkos. No, it's interesting. Final toys are just a cool thing to collect, though. Of
Yeah.
course, of course,
Yeah.
Funko is, they've been doing this for years in Japan, so Funko's kind of bringing it to the Americas, one pop reference at a time.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not lamenting my first subscription. It's probably the only subscription box I could
Hmm.
plainly justify in any way, shape, or form. It's just I can understand why there would be a lot of mixed reviews. I would not recommend it to anybody who's like seriously collecting at
Yeah,
all.
it's definitely a good gateway drug, and it's if you just want stuff for your office, or if you grew up getting grab bags from the toy store like I did when I was a kid, there's a certain nostalgia and a certain kind of fun factor to not knowing what you're going to get, which is one of the reasons I really look quarterly. I don't know what the hell Will Wheaton's going to send me every 3 months, but I'm always amazed when I get it. Um, but at the same time, it's not. At the same time, like you said, if you're a serious collector, you want a little bit more. You want a little bit more control over it. But if you want to gauge your interest in, like, if you're a new collector and you want to gauge your interest in, like, what you want to collect, if you want to collect, what you like, it's a good way to sample a bunch of brands. That being said, the relative cost for it, like Nerd Block, I know I've been picking in them the whole cast, but like Nerd Block and Loot Crate, they're $20 a month and $30 a month. $30 a month for Nerd Block, $20 a month ish for Loot Crate. Um, you may not feel the relative value you get for the price may not feel like it's there.
Right.
So it's there are plenty of other ways to get into it. Um, Reddit is a good source for things like that. Just figuring out what you want. If you like Nintendo characters, there's not really a thing to get into that besides going to Target and picking up some amiibos. Um, which I got both 8-bit Mario versions for the anniversary, which sold out immediately when they first came out. But I picked them both up on Black Friday for half price, which was fantastic. Um, just figuring out what you want. If you're a guy like me who just likes random shit, it's a great thing to get into it. I mean, if it wasn't for Loot Crate, I wouldn't have a Moe's Tavern coaster from Simpsons that I'm drinking. I'm drinking scotch on right now. It says "Put your mug on my mug," and it's got Moe's face on it. But obviously, that's not something that like my kids would like pay for college with when they if they eBay it after I die. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Um, I feel the true collector value to the amount of random shit you get is not quite there. which I know I've been waxing poetic on exactly what you've said, but same thing.
Oh, yeah.
But at least you get stuff to take home. This is still a step up from the digital card games,
It's
the
true.
digital collectible cards. At least you have something to look at
Yeah.
when you're not on your phone.
Exactly.
And honestly, I really wanted
Oh, I
to.
did it again. Damn. My mute button on my mic is not working today.
It looks like the T-shirts are going for about 15 on eBay, and it looks like the figures, even the normal TIE Fighter
Mm-hmm.
is going pretty well. I mean, I could easily make my money back off of the box if I
Oh,
really
for sure.
wanted to.
And then there are the really ambitious people who are either bidding. Are these bids or prices? Let me see this.
Yeah, make sure that you're looking at the
Buy okay, 250 is a buy it now price. That's not really what they're bidding on. So I
no.
was wondering about that.
There's an option.
180 for actually the 180 is for four.
Look at the sold listings. There's an option you can pick if you're on
Mhm.
eBay that will. Brian told me this. He's like, never look at what it's going for. Always look for what it
Mhm.
got sold for.
Well, there's one right now where the high bid is $67 for the Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot.
Yeah,
So that's
I know.
yeah, but that feels just like that feels just like the Comic Con specials. They usually go for around 50 after conventions. That feels about average for if you're that kind of collector and you didn't get it.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but if you're a casual collector, if this is your first time doing it, and you want to get all four. That feels like a pretty steep price of entry. But I guess
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how committed you are to getting the whole set.
Not very
Um,
committed. And
yeah,
I
and
I am sad. I think out of the four T-shirts, I probably got my least favorite
oh
out
no.
of the group, which makes me kind of sad. I got the Snow Trooper, and I found out the Captain Phasma is adorable.
Hmm.
There was a Kylo Ren, and then there was a normal Stormtrooper.
And Kylo was the one I saw mostly on YouTube too. So maybe it's all a conspiracy again.
Yeah, I
Um,
see. Yeah, I have a feeling. I have a feeling that that if you told them you were a reviewer, they
hmm.
like special built your box, because I saw that too. I was like, how can all of these YouTubers? I mean, if he's supposed to be the chaser and he's supposed to be so rare, how are they
That's
all?
how rare it is because they sent it out to the 300 the 300 reviewers and that was it. Like, oh, you're not a reviewer, you're not the press, so you'll get the normal one.
Except I am technically a reviewer now, so
Yeah.
joke's on them.
Yeah, but they won't talk to you until you're reviewing until your subscriber your subscriber number is high. Oh my god.
Right.
I when I wrote for Geek when I was a staff writer for Geek Union back when that was a thing, I got like the bare minimum reviewing our press credentials, which basically meant people would give me a discount to buy shit. And
Yeah.
I think we at the time had like 45,000 followers on Twitter, so yeah, it's a high bar. Makes you wonder what their subscriber numbers are.
Right.
Got to start sending some more checks in the mail and get some more subscribers.
Yeah. That's okay. Again. I'm not bitter in any way. It's just
Yeah, it's
yeah.
interesting.
It's just really interesting,
Yeah.
and I would definitely warn people against it if they were interested.
Yeah. And another pro tip about collecting too, if you want it, wait before you buy it.
Exactly.
Um, there was a if you guys have seen Pacific Rim, there's like a split second thing where they're talking about how they made toys of the Jaegers and the Munsters in the movie. It's like a split second on the bookshelf. They show them with these little vinyl toys of the Munsters and the Jaegers. They actually made that for Comic Con. They actually made a little 5-piece vinyl set. It's in my office right now. And when I wanted it, when I first noticed and wanted it, because I couldn't go to Comic Con, and no one would buy it for me because they're a bunch of posers. um, I immediately did what everyone else does, and which is go to eBay and see it, and immediately figured out it was a lot higher than I wanted to pay because it was retailing for $25, and people were selling it for, of course everyone does buy it now when they initially sell it, and they wanted like $100 or more for it. So I kept monitoring stuff. I kept monitoring that set for like 3 months, and I finally nabbed it for 30, which is $5 higher than retail. So if you want it, there's a certain magic in waiting, unless it really and truly is a limited thing, and also the right kind of thing, like the Nuka-Cola Quantum that they have on Target. There's no reason to pay the prices people want on eBay for that crap.
Yeah.
Now, if it's like the prop replica Nuka-Cola bottles that somebody like hand aged and they only have 6 of them ever, and they want $30 for it, that's probably fair. They're probably not going to get another one of those because it's one of a kind or whatever. But that's why conventions are great. Dragon Con is good for this kind of thing. If you like what if you know what you want and know where to look, which is mainly conventions, you can find almost any of this stuff at a fair price, which is really good. It's just unfortunately you have to put in some legwork and find the right vendor.
I'm used to, yeah. Well, especially, I mean, the same could be true for just about everything on eBay. I mean, if you just, gosh, I mean, if you just wait, somebody is going to not know what they're selling, and you're going to get a deal if you're patient. I mean, I
Yeah.
see Brian do it all the freaking time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten movies that he's been able to sell for like $200.
Mm-hmm.
He's bought it because some person thought it was an old VHS of Halloween, and so they were like, I'm going to put this up, but it's like the first release VHS of Halloween,
Yeah.
and so he sold it for like 20.
Well, it's like the original first edition of Dune sold for like $120,000 or something because they only printed like 400 of them.
Yep,
I mean,
exactly.
the initial run, that is not what I was looking for. The initial run of Dune. Let's see what Wikipedia is saying about this. The initial run, it doesn't actually have a list on it. but I want to say it doesn't say. I want to say they released like 1,000 or less. Um, but yeah, it's expensive. I think for a while it may still hold it. For a while, it held the world record, the world record of the most expensive first edition book ever sold, which is a pretty high bar. Or
Right.
maybe first edition sci-fi book. It holds a record for being damned expensive because there wasn't that many made, and they just put it in auction. I don't live in the right city for it, but places that have a lot of movie history, you can often go to thrift stores and yard sales and get um, really old movie posters, and you can flip those for a nice penny on eBay too, which is handy. Um, if you vintage magazine ads are a huge thing too. Um,
Yep.
you can make some money on it, but if you know what you want to collect and know and have some good relationships with people, they'll help you find what you need, which is really cool.
Well, and you have to know what, and see, that's the biggest thing is people will ask me, they're like, oh, how does he do it? And I'm like, because he knows everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get onto eBay and make any money off of it if you don't know anything about what you're selling.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know what you're looking for, and you can't look at everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do your homework before you go onto eBay, even before
Mm-hmm.
you yard sales or swap meets and stuff like that. You have to do some kind of homework, you know.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing the homework while you're there are plenty of apps to show you. I think nowadays, well, I don't know if the eBay app does it too, but you can search on it. But search what the prices they're going for. There are apps if you're selling like books and things like that that'll tell you. You can scan the barcode, and it's like a blue book value. It'll tell you if it's in this condition. You can usually sell it for this kind of price. So you're not just buying a box of random books or vinyls and hoping to make money. You know when you leave that you can potentially make X amount of money,
Yeah.
which is really handy.
And just remember one thing too. When you go to like swap meets, you got to remember the seller. They've done a little bit of homework also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
If they know what they're doing, they've done their research.
They know what they're doing, and if they know what they have, yeah, they've done some kind of homework. There are some people that don't, and there's some people that do.
Yeah, and if you post on Reddit, if you post on Reddit, go to conventions, go to swap meets, and make relationships with people. They'll actually help you out. There are so many vendors that I've seen at conventions that they know what you're looking for, and usually if they don't have it, they'll be like, well, we don't have it, but this guy we saw 5 rows over has it, for a nice price. You might want to go talk to him. And there's very few people who are, okay, scalpers aside, there are very few people who want to rip you off if you honestly want to pay for something.
Yeah.
As long as you don't go in blind. Again, there are plenty of scalpers, as there are fair market collectors and vendors.
Yeah. And even if you go into like a secondhand store, some of those people, they know what they're doing, but also too, some of those stores will have like certain days where they'll have like 50% off or something like, stuff like that.
America's thrift stores is really good for that because they'll shuffle up. They have a color coded system and they'll shuffle it up. So like every 2 weeks, like the white label stuff will be half off or 80% off or something. I think it's fantastic how they do that.
Yeah. I mean, we have one that's nearby that me and my wife go to every now and then. And she found me a Star Trek board game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. And it was priced at about $25 or $30. Well, she went on a half off day, so she got it for $15. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and it's almost practically brand new. Only one of the packs of cards in there was open, and none of the pieces, the game pieces, none of them were punched out. So they're all attached and everything. The board is like pristine new, and the only thing that has some damage is the box. That's it.
Nice. So basically light wear and tear in somebody's attic.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that. And of course, even being beat up is a thing nowadays too. They have the whole rustic they have the whole rustic thing nowadays, where people will be like, oh, it's rusty, I'll buy that.
Oh yeah, yeah. There are collectors that will buy it like that. And they'll either get it restored or they like that look.
They like that grunge, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it all goes back to knowing what you want, knowing what you want and like, and knowing and doing some homework, figuring out how to get it. Um, as long as you have something as long as you want to collect something that's relatively easy to find, go ahead and do it. If you're a very specific collector, like if you're one of those people who want to collect like different sugar packets or something, obviously that's a little harder to get into, but that's why Reddit exists too. You
Yeah.
can find somebody who's an expert on finding that somewhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah. On one big tip, don't look eager to buy something off the
Oh
person
yeah.
That's a big thing.
because then their light bulbs go off and they're like, oh, they want this. Okay, let's see what they'll pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's never a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's cars, collectibles, whatever.
Exactly.
My favorite conversations are when you want to get something that even the seller doesn't know what you want. When I went to Dragon Con, I saw Milk-Fed Criminal Masterminds panel, which for the uninitiated is Kelly Sue DeConnick. Sorry, but I was reading your Twitter earlier. Kelly Sue DeConnick and Matt Fraction. Fantastic writers, most known for Hawkeye and Captain Marvel. Anyway, they write their own stuff like Bitch Planet, Sex Criminals, Odyssey, ODY-C, Pretty Deadly, so many things. Anyway, so there were so many Bitch Planet people at Kelly Sue DeConnick's panel, and I'm just sitting here like over in the corner, like I'm here for Captain Marvel. Anyway, so after I left, after I got out of that panel, I'm like, you know what? I want to buy some Bitch Planet. I want to see what everyone else was talking about, basically. So I go to this massive. I had to ask like 3 or 4 vendors at the Dragon Con Vendors Hall about it, and every one of them looks at me and they go, "What are you looking for?" And I'm like, "I'm looking for Bitch Planet," and they're like, "Is that a porn comic?" It's like, well, it depends on what you're into, but no. and I finally found them at one of them, and it was basically that conversation. Dude was like, I don't know. Dude basically was like, dude, I just work here. I don't know. But you're free to look, and I found all of them there. But that's my favorite conversation because I like collecting independent comics, and I also like prop making. So but I also like specific props. Like I'll go like like I had another one of those conversations in at Dragon Con too because I wanted the Lawkeeper badge from Defiance, and Defiance of course just got canceled. So obviously there's not as much interest in it as there used to be. And there was a place that sold all these resin replicas of guns and everything on Instagram. I'm like, do you have a Lawkeeper badge? And they look at me and they go, what? I'm like, and I had to show them a photo, and they're like, oh yeah, it's right here, and they pull out a box and give it to me. But it's always fun to want that one thing that they're like they're just like, huh?
But you don't know too. I mean, who knows later on down the line in the future, it could come back. If not the program, then the
desire for it. The intensity that people want to collect anything Firefly related has just intensified since the show was canceled.
Just like Space 1999.
Yeah.
Old 70s TV series. I mean, it only lasted, I think, 4, 5 seasons. I think it was
at the most. Yeah.
At the most, and all here after all these years, there's Space 1999 Facebook pages and people going to the cons dressed in the Space 1999 outfits, stuff, and so so you never know.
Yeah, Felicia Day actually talks about this in her book You're Weird on the Internet Almost. That she had gone to conventions and she said that the first year she went after the guild kind of exploded, that the last thing she really expected fans to do was to wear costumes of her characters. And she said she was talking about how interesting it was to go to her first convention as like a known internet personality, and see basically everybody in line dressed as Codex from the guild. Can you imagine? It's amazing. It's even more amazing if you're a fan of something. There's not that many collectibles. Because if you think about the guild, there's not really that much stuff. Maybe they'll make pop bottles. And then you look at like Bethesda, who's really done a great job of capitalizing on the popularity of Fallout. It's interesting seeing everybody's reaction to different medias, because you'll have Bethesda that's like Fallout everything. You can get Fallout hoodies, you can get the Pip-Boy like I did, you can get the actual bobbleheads from the I'm going through every medium except what it is through the video game. God, I hope there's a Fallout movie at some point. But you can get all this shit, and it's almost as bad as Star Wars. But you look at Halo, and there's not been very much of anything, and it arguably has about the same kind of fan base. It's always interesting to see how different properties react to their own popularity, which I think makes it more exciting as a collector, because when you do find that one thing, when you do find that one Master Chief helmet, that it's like being in a club, because it's probably one of like 20 things that they've made, and that's it.
Oh yeah, I mean Halo is finally coming down to like I don't know how you can say it. It's died down, and I mean it still has its popularity. It still has its stuff.
But now it's competing with Call of Duty, and it really didn't have that when it started in the early 2000s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now we have Destiny, which is literally made by the other half of Bungie that's competing with Halo 5. You have Call of Duty that came out the same week. You have Fallout, which just blew everything out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually Fallout was defunct when Halo came out, because I think because Bethesda picked it up, and I think Fallout 2 came out in 2000. I think Bethesda picked it up in 2008, and Halo and Halo 2 happened right between that. So it's interesting. Of course they're not necessarily competing with each other at all, but
yeah, I think the only thing that Halo had that was competitive at that time was SOCOM.
Mm-hmm.
But SOCOM, I mean, it
and I guess there was Quake, because Quake was a big thing for LAN parties back in the day. Back in the day, kids. I'm talking Quake 3, not powered by Quake. I'm talking the game Quake. Oh, good times. Yeah, that was back when you actually had to have 4 people on the couch to or network it through your dorm to play Halo. You couldn't just log online, because that wasn't a thing.
Those were the days.
Back in the day when wireless controllers were for the super rich. I was already a man when I touched my first wireless controller. Back when Super Smash Brothers was a legitimate fighting game. Oh, those were the days. All you youngins. Oh, Fallout. It's been a good year for video games. And it's been a really good year for anybody. It's been a good year for anybody with nostalgia, but it's been an especially good year for anybody who cares about anything video game related. There have been so many good things coming out of the woodwork. Even the things that started out badly, like Arkham Knight, which just shit fell apart immediately for PC players, especially when it came out. But I actually got it on Black Friday and was playing it this weekend. It's a legitimately good game. I mean, I don't think it's as good as Arkham City, but it's a good third Batman title. I like it.
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, but it's just been it's been a good year. You have so much, and then there's so much other stuff coming out too, which is just fantastic. Yeah. I'm thinking about Christmas lists is what I'm doing.
I did that earlier in the week for my break. This was a really productive week. I know I'm still kind of bumbling around with my work tonight, but I got quite a bit done.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week for me too, because it has been First there was, well, of course I'm in Alabama, so Iron Bowl is like a damn religion. There was that. There was, of course, Thanksgiving, and I'm actually amazed at the amount of stuff I don't have to do right now. It's a nice problem to have.
Yeah.
It's like I know there's some shit I still got to do, but I don't feel like it's last minute. It's as last minute as it has been.
Right. Exactly. Yep. I'm just kind of casually working on things at this point,
Yeah.
which is really nice. I'm like, why couldn't the entire semester be like this?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. If only.
If only.
It's like I tell myself there's always next semester, and then I tell myself that semester, oh, there's always next semester.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. It's a vicious cycle.
I've been freaking out lately just because we kind of diverged into school talk.
Yes.
I've been freaking out lately because my plan for what I want to do with my thesis project, I'm fairly savvy at code. I'm actually probably one of the more I'm how do you want to say, out of the people in our program, I'm probably
Mm.
one of the strongest, I guess, student coders coming in because most everybody's design first.
Well, I think especially for the masters people, there's by the way, guys, if you like our video, go ahead and subscribe and comment below. We will have more great content coming out to you in short order, especially now that one major holiday is taken care of, and just be sure to keep the love coming in. And we'll see you guys next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just